If you are in the market for a new flagship phone, you may be deliberating between purchasing the iPhone 14 Pro Max or the Samsung Galaxy S22 Ultra. These are the top two flagship phones currently available on the market, and depending on your preferences, one of these options may be preferable to the other. But how can you figure that out in such a short period? Well, today's video is the easy ride for you, because we will be comparing Apple's iPhone 14 Pro Max and Samsung's Galaxy S22 Ultra. So stay tuned till the end. Apple and Samsung are the two greatest market dominants for smartphones and are fierce competitors. Now, with the release of Apple's new iPhone 14 Pro Max, a new model is in the run for the title of Best Smartphone. Although the iPhone 14 Pro Max may give the Galaxy S22 Ultra a run for its money, Apple may find that the competition is not as easy as they had planned. Whether Galaxy S22 Ultra or the iPhone 14 Pro Max is superior relies on various factors, such as its features, camera specifications, processor, and other components. With both firms competing to produce the best flagship smartphone, there can only be one winner. The specifications are usually the perfect place to start when comparing different technologies. Camera. Since most people do not carry around a separate camera, but rather rely on their smartphone for all their photography needs, the camera is probably the feature that is the most important selling point for smartphones in today's market. The Samsung Galaxy S22 Ultra comes with a 108-megapixel main camera, a 12-megapixel ultra-wide camera with a 0.5 times zoom, and a 10-megapixel telephoto sensors with 3 times and 10 times optical zoom, respectively. The iPhone 14 Pro Max also includes great cameras, such as the main camera with 48 megapixels, a 12-megapixel ultra-wide camera with a 0.5 times zoom, and a 12-megapixel telephoto camera with a 3-time magnification. Apple's flagship model is beaten by Samsung's flagship model in terms of camera specifications, except for the number of megapixels on the telephoto lens and the zoom on the ultra-wide lens. The front-facing camera on Samsung's handset has a resolution of 40 megapixels, whereas the front-facing camera on the newest iPhone only has a resolution of 12 megapixels. Galaxy lacks some of the unique photography functions available on the iPhone, such as the photographic styles. Built. Galaxy S22 Ultra is taller in height and width, but significantly larger in thickness compared to the iPhone 14 Pro Max. The iPhone's rounded corners make it easier on the hands and make it feel more natural to hold in one's palm. While the front and rear of the S22 Ultra are both made of Gorilla Glass Victus Plus, the front glass of the iPhone 14 Pro Max is coated with ceramic shield. The iPhone and the Samsung Galaxy S22 Ultra are built to last, but the iPhone's display is flatter and more resistant to cracking than the curved display on the S22 Ultra. Display and screen. The display hardware has not been altered in any way. Displays with an adaptive 120 Hz refresh rate come standard on the iPhone 14 Pro and Pro Max, with the former measuring in at 6.1 inches and the latter measuring in at 6.7 inches. Apple introduces a display that is constantly on, adding yet another feature reserved only for its Pro series of products. It is compatible with the brand new lock screen widget introduced with iOS 16 and may display notifications, calendar events, and reminders. You won't see a black background like in previous incarnations of an AOD. Rather, you'll see a toned-down version of your background image. The Galaxy S22 Ultra has a screen that is 6.8 inches and has a resolution of 3080 by 1440 pixels, whereas the iPhone Pro Max has a screen that is 6.7 inches and has a resolution of 2796 by 1290 pixels. The display density on Samsung's phone comes at 500 pixels per inch, whereas the display density on Apple's phone is only 460 pixels per inch. When compared, the Apple iPhone 14 Pro Max has an aspect ratio of 19:9, whereas the Samsung Galaxy S22 Ultra 5G has an aspect ratio of 19:9. Even while Samsung has the better screen, there won't be much noticeable difference in appearance because both screens will be of high quality. Processor. The Snapdragon 8 Gen 1 Exynos 2200 chip found in the S22 Ultra cannot compete with the A16 Bionic chip found in the iPhone 14 Pro Max regarding the amount of raw power that is available. The gap in power between the A15 Bionic in the iPhone 13 series and the most powerful processor, Qualcomm, has to give was already quite large before this release, and it has dramatically widened since then. This does not imply that S22 Ultra does not possess sufficient power. It is improbable that you will observe any discernible difference in everyday use. However, when it comes to gaming, the iPhone will be able to manage tasks much more effectively, making it a superior alternative for those who participate in competitive gaming. Battery capacity and charging velocity. The battery capacity of the iPhone equivalents does not even exceed 4,400 mAh. While the battery capacity of the Galaxy S22 Ultra is a gigantic 5,000 mAh, so you would expect it to easily outlive them. The battery capacity of the iPhone 14 Pro Max is 4,323 mAh, making it far from the largest available. Nevertheless, the battery's capacity may not be the sole issue here. Since the iOS software developed by Apple does a significantly better job of keeping the phone from excessive power use, it is anticipated that the iPhone would have a battery life that is superior to that of the Galaxy. Regarding charging, the Galaxy can support speeds of up to 45W, whereas the iPhone can only go as quick as 27W. And there is a significant gap between how quickly these two devices charge, as it takes the Galaxy only a little bit more than an hour to reach its full capacity, while it takes the iPhone about double that amount of time to reach its full capacity. Interestingly, the Galaxy also allows reverse wireless charging, whereas the iPhone does not have this capability. Enable the feature set something compatible, such as a smartwatch or wireless headphones on top of the phone, and they will mysteriously start charging. This is a trick that the iPhone is unable to perform. Design. Compared to the iPhones that came before them, the iPhone 14 Pro and Pro Max don't have very different looking bodies. It's just a question of a few millimeters shaved off the height and width. And the new phones are really a millimeter thicker than their predecessors. There is a significant enough difference between the two phones to warrant the creation of an entirely new line of cases. Yet the difference is not significant enough to be easily distinguishable when viewed from behind. If you face the phones toward you, you will find that the situation is very different. The traditional iPhone notch has been removed, and the components of Face ID have been moved into a new pill-shaped cutout that Apple refers to as Dynamic Island. It's more than just a notch with alerts, music controls, notifications, and other features around the edge of the notch. Although the Galaxy S22 Ultra looks very similar to the phone that came before it, there is one significant difference between the two designs. The Galaxy Ultra does not have a rear camera array that protrudes from the back of the device. Instead, the lenses on the back of the S22 Ultra are more flush against the back of the device. As a result of Samsung's success in incorporating the S Pen into the Galaxy S22 Ultra, the dimensions of the more recent model are slightly larger than those of its predecessor, the Galaxy S21 Ultra. Of course, the iPhone Pro Max does not have room for an S Pen. RAM and storage. Because Apple Silicon is so powerful, iPhones don't require as much random access memory RAM as Android smartphones. This indicates that the iPhone 14 Pro Max, with its 6 GB of RAM, will still be able to give the same level of multitasking performance as the Galaxy S22 Ultra, with its 8 GB of RAM. However, if you obtain the version with 12 GB of RAM, you will notice some subtle variations. Internal storage on both devices begins at 128 GB on the most basic model and may be upgraded to 1 TB if desired. The expandable memory cannot be accommodated on either of these two phones because none of them includes a slot for a microSD card. Software. The Apple iPhone 14 Pro Max boots straight into iOS 16. while the Samsung Galaxy S22 Ultra boots straight into the One UI 4, based on the Android 12 operating system. While the Galaxy S22 Ultra will receive up to 4 years of significant software updates, the iPhone 14 Pro Max will receive up to 5 years of major software updates. Apps and games are available for users to download from Apple App Store and Samsung Store or Google Play Store for the Galaxy phone. On both devices, the software and overall user experience are satisfactory. One mobile device's navigating, animating, and accessing applications are all lightning quick, silky smooth, and fluid experiences. Apple, however, developed a new piece of software and an improved user experience centered on the dynamic island punch hole found in the iPhone 14 Pro Max. The app notification, minimization, and quick reaction experience on the iPhone 14 Pro Max with the dynamic island are enjoyable, but the punch hole on the Galaxy S22 Ultra looks incredibly nice and clean. Overall, it appears that the Galaxy S22 Ultra is superior to the iPhone 14 Pro Max in many ways. However, both smartphones are excellent, and the iPhone is renowned for having excellent optimizations. In addition, it now has a new and improved processor, which may give it the edge in terms of its software being better able to cooperate with its hardware. Which of these phones will you go for? Let's know in the comments section below. That will be all for today's video. Thanks for staying tuned. Please don't forget to hit the subscribe button and notification bell so that you can always get to watch more amazing videos like this. See you in the next video. Bye.